Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And Rassie Erasmus is set to formally receive his charges from World Rugby this week, according to a report in The Times. A very, very interesting sort of moment in World Rugby after Rassie Erasmus released that hour-long video talking about the referee performance during the first test between the British and Irish Lions and the Springboks. As a result, World Rugby confirmed that they will be charging the Springbok Director of Rugby, and it was confirmed this week that he will be receiving his charges and will be having a hearing in the next sort of fortnight. Before we look at exactly what the consequences could be, what the process is, please first of all smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. And second of all, I'd just like to say a big thank you to Manscaped, who are currently supporting the channel. Manscaped is the best men's below the waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million people worldwide who trust Manscaped with the exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free shipping with the code FOREVER. So I like Forever Sports up there on the board. You can use FOREVER at manscaped.com and get 20% off as well as free shipping. Please do go and show support for them as they are supporting the channel at the moment. But in terms of Rassie Erasmus, so he has been charged in breaching of Regulation 18, which covers sort of misconduct. And after he gets charged, SA Rugby will have a chance to sort of assess it and look at it, and then they can respond to World Rugby itself. So it's going to be quite an interesting situation. In terms of some of the punishments, you know, it can range from a series of things like a fine, but it can also result in a stadium ban, which means that Rassie Erasmus would not be allowed within the stadiums during Springbok games, which would rule him out of being, you know, running the water as he currently has been, and would sort of take him out of the sort of the coaching setup, at least on match day situations. So that is sort of the most sort of extreme fine that could face the director of rugby. What is quite interesting is that the report is talking about the fact that SA Rugby might themselves take a bit of disciplinary action in order to try and mitigate during the hearing. So a sort of well, don't worry, World Rugby will take care of it. You know, we'll sort himself out internally, and therefore try and reduce the possible sanction that could be sent out by World Rugby itself. And I think that's probably not the worst idea, because I think that we do know that there will be some sort of punishment. I don't think SA Rugby really cares, to be perfectly honest. I think that, you know, I'd be very surprised if it was done without them knowing. I think they were probably quite aware of the video. But also, there's a certain amount of you have to prove that he did leak the video. Because according to Network 24, which is an Afrikaans publication, Rassie Erasmus, who is the lawyer of Rassie Erasmus, said that Rassie Erasmus sent the video directly to World Rugby and to referee Nick Berry, and never leaked it himself. And therefore the implication is that the leak did not come from him. And if the leak did not come from him, and if they can't prove that he didn't orchestrate the leak itself, then I don't think you can really charge him, because the video, you know, wasn't intended for the public. It was him supposedly addressing World Rugby. He did say that if they don't want to look at it or something like that, then maybe it'll be passed on to SuperSport. But at this stage, they are maintaining the fact that he did not leak the video himself, and nor did anybody in the Springbok setup. And if you can't prove that is the case, I don't see really how you can sort of fine him for something which was never supposed to go out there. It was supposed to be an internal matter, and you are allowed to, you know, send feedback to the World Rugby. You're allowed to send feedback to the referees. You know, so I think it's going to be quite an interesting sort of watershed moment for World Rugby, because World Rugby obviously have to respond. They have to do something. They can't sort of let this go by. The biggest problem, though, is I think that this video has sort of been a long journey of lots of coaches being unable to sort of voice their frustration with certain refereeing decisions and not being able to feel like their voice is being heard. And so this has kind of been building up for quite a while. And this was sort of the final sort of straw that broke the camel's back, really. So Rassie Erasmus will face the full sort of might of World Rugby, but I think in many ways it's something which has been quite representative of a lot of coaches out there. So the World Rugby are now sitting at a crossroads. They will punish Rassie Erasmus, but I think the biggest disappointment is the fact that they never ever sort of said, you know, we welcome suggestions or feedback and stuff like that, but not in this manner. It was very much, you can't do it, you can't question our officials like that, it's disrespectful, and we will review our laws, not our laws in terms of, or protocols in terms of how we review our officials, but those in terms of how they can punish coaches and how they can sort of, you know, create the disciplinary. So I think that they kind of missed the point completely, which is about right for World Rugby at the moment. You know, there's a chance for them to come out and say, listen, we are willing to listen to feedback, we are willing to have these conversations, but we will not have it in the public space, we will not have you making videos like that, you will be punished as a result, but we are willing to negotiate or look at different ways that we can try and improve this sort of situation, so a situation like this does not arise. How can we avoid this in the future? But they haven't. I suppose they are going to try and prevent this in the future by creating maybe different laws and rules to punish coaches, to further prevent them from ever sort of trying to criticize the referee. And Warren Gatland was brought into this conversation as well. So as a result, even sort of examples saying things like, I don't think the TMO should be South African. That could be something World Rugby might look to try and sanction now. So it's quite sort of a murky water situation where you don't want World Rugby to move towards a situation where you are not allowed to say a single thing, about the referees, and that there's no accountability, there's no sort of liability on the referees. They do need to be accountable for some of their calls, and obviously no referee is ever perfect, and you do have to protect the referees, but there also needs to be sort of continuity. If there is a bad call, if there are certain trends that are arising, you need to be able to say what is going on here, what is the future, why is this happening, so that you can start playing within the laws, because it is becoming a very law-driven game with lots of different laws coming in. We've seen the Rugby Championship with a bunch of different laws coming in, which we'll do a video about that as well. So it's a very interesting time for World Rugby, and I think that what they do in the sort of next month in terms of how they charge him, how they punish him, and what they sort of move on forward will be quite representative of where World Rugby is at the moment in terms of wanting to reform, or where they want to continue being quite sort of narrow-minded in many ways and sort of keeping to themselves and keeping to our way or the highway, or if they are actually willing to sit down, listen to the feedback, and change where change is needed. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll keep you updated as things progress. Before then, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Remember, 20% off and free shipping worldwide through manscaped.com. They are sponsoring this show, currently supporting us, so please do go and support them. They've recently launched in South Africa. They've got a whole range of really, really cool products, so go and check them out. And I'll see you guys all very soon. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more.